Welcome to Superfood's TONIC Kitchen. My name is Ian, and today we're just mucking around. We're playing with chocolate, and we realized that we don't have any gifts or anything ready for Easter. So we decided, why not make a webinar about how to make Easter chocolate. So we've got our stuff kind of ready. It's a bit of a mess because we've been playing around with it all day, and I'm a little bit high on chocolate and high on coffee bean. But hopefully we'll be able to get through this mess and deal with it. So we've already made some chocolate bars already, as you can see, just to make sure the consistency is right. We've got about 1/3 of agave syrup for the sweetener. We've got 1/3 of the cocoa butter itself and 1/3 of TONIC Superfoods cocoa powder. And we're going to mix it all together and make some actual chocolate itself. Today we're going to be making a few different kinds of chocolate truffles, different shapes, different sizes, different flavors, and hopefully we'll just kind of make it up as we go, and hopefully the flavors will be quite good and delicious. Okay, so we're going to start off by melting the chocolate. So we're going to start off with the cocoa butter by melting it. Now we already have it in large chunks, and if you buy it in powder form, depending on large chunks, you're probably going to want to break it up. The more surface area you have showing, the easier it is to actually melt the butter itself. So I'm just going to kind of cut it as it is butter and harden, it breaks up more than I quite easily. It doesn't really keep its form. So we've got the cocoa butter cut up, and we're going to have our double boiler set up. Now a double boiler is pretty simple. It's just a pot with hot water. You bring it to a nice simmer. You don't want it boiling. And then you turn it off. You take another container, which is called a bain-marie, and you put it on top, captures the heat, and you add in the cocoa butter. And it slowly starts to melt and it doesn't burn or overcook whatever it is that you're heating and melting. Let that stay hot for a little bit and keep on mixing it up. Now when you're dealing with making chocolate, you have to be careful with water. Water is chocolate's worst enemy. If you add water, even a drop to your melted chocolate, it's going to seize up. You're just going to mess the entire thing up. So you got to be really careful. Making chocolate is actually really a science. You got to go slow. So we're going to talk a little bit about the ingredients that we're using. So we've got fresh ground coffee, espresso bean. We've got, this is nutmeg. This is some raspberry jam that I'll show you how you gotta take care of it a little bit. This is mint tea, and we got our fresh mint leaves. We've got a cream, and we're going to make 3 different kinds of truffles. So first thing we're going to be making is the ganache, and then from there we'll be showing you different ways that you can do either Easter eggs or chocolate dipped Easter bunnies or Easter flowers, whichever ones that you like preferably. As you can see, the cocoa butter melts into a nice butter-like consistency. Looks almost like clarified butter. Now when you're about to add the cocoa powder itself, you don't want to keep the butter or your bain-marie too hot, because that'll mess up the way the chocolate sets. And we're going to add in our chocolate. Remember what I said about the water? You want to be careful about that aspect. Make sure you don't add an extra amount of water. So when you're done with this, make sure you put it somewhere dry. add in our chocolate, just a little bit at a time. While I'm doing that, I'll take a bite. So after adding in the last of the cocoa powder, got a nice consistency. And we're going to add the sweetener. So it's already starting to cool off a little bit. So I'm going to put it back in the bain-marie to keep it nice and warm. Slowly add in the sweetener. So after finishing pouring all 3 condiments in, we've got a nice chocolate consistency. So we've got our chocolate down. Now we're going to make our first type of ganache. So starting, we're going to have to start boiling some cream. So we got our heat up to about a medium. We're going to add our cream. About half a cup, because we're going to be yielding about 225 grams per different type of ganache. Let it start to just come to a simmer on the edge. With cream, you don't want to cook it. You just want it to simmer. You're just trying to heat it up a little bit. Now with this, we're going to add our coffee first. I like a strong flavor. I don't think it is. As you can see, our cream is already starting to turn to a brown color. We're just flavoring the cream, and then we're going to put it through a sieve, and that way we'll have just the cream from our ganache. So one thing that we forgot to put in was a little pinch of salt. Emulsify the flavors, and also we added a pinch of salt to our chocolate behind the cameras to help bring all the flavors together. When you try it at home, you'll see the difference between store-bought chocolate and the chocolate we make here. So now that we've got it a nice coffee flavor to our cream, we're going to get the sieve. We're going to and then you just want to start pushing the rest of the cream through, and the leftover chunks stay behind. Make sure you get it all. You want to use every bit. Run it up the sides of the sieve to help drain the coffee out. So now we're ready to add our chocolate to our cream. Now remember what I said about the water. Water is not chocolate's friend. So make sure you clean the bowl, because all that steam is now creating all the water to stick to the sides, and that way you don't pour it in. And then we're going to measure out 225 grams. Now you noticed how everything I do with this is a nice, slow procedure. Because with chocolate, you gotta use love. And I say that in all forms of the word. Chocolate is a slow process that takes time. And the more love you put into it, the better it's gonna taste. So basically, the slower you go, the less you're gonna mess it up, the better it's gonna taste. So as you can see, it's become a nice, thick consistency with that coffee flavor inside mixed with the chocolate. This will come out beautifully. Now we're gonna add a little bit of vanilla bean to this, just for an extra bonus for our friends, because we love them so much and we want really good Christmas gifts this year. So I'm taking the vanilla bean, you're going to cut off the ends and then just cut it right down the middle. Keep it back, open it up. That smells good. And we just take the back of the blade and we pull off the flavoring itself. Now, here in TONIC Kitchen, we save our beans because you can make extract with it, or vanilla vodka, whichever floats your boat. Now you can put the vanilla in with the coffee and then strain it out if you want, but I like the flavor directly in because then it leaves those little surprises of a big strong piece of vanilla in some, and not much in others. So we just need a pan of some sort. We're gonna flatten this out and let our ganache cool off. It takes usually about 20 minutes to an hour, depending on how cold it is outside. Now, a trick to putting it in, when you put in the wax paper, you can actually use a little bit of tape to tape it on, but I'm just lazy today, so I'm not going to do that. As you can see, it's nice and thick. Go ahead and just flatten it all out. And then we're going to go on to making more. And that vanilla beans is going to give a really nice flavor to it. I was walking to the store the other day, and I noticed that vanilla bean for 3 in the supermarket was about $7, I think, which I thought was actually quite ridiculous. If you look on the TONIC website, you'll be able to see that they sell about 20 vanilla beans for $30, which I think is a much better bargain. And if you're going to use vanilla beans in your tea, chocolate making, smoothies, and everything else, it's just simply a better bargain, right? Awesome. So we're going to put some plastic wrap on that, and then put it in the fridge and let it cool off. Now the reason why you want to put a covering over it is when you're putting it in the fridge, you don't know what kind of moisture you're going to get on it. So again, you want to keep as much moisture away from your chocolate as possible. And that's why I like doing that. So if you don't have plastic wrap, if you can get a plate or something like that, make sure it's nice airtight. Again, that way you don't have to start over. Be back to you in about 20 minutes. And we have a mixture of cinnamon and cocoa powder brought to us by TONIC Superfoods. So what we're going to do with the espresso chocolate is simple. Just breaking it up. Nothing fancy. We're going to make it into stone chocolate truffles. same size. And we're just going to toss it in. And we've got stone farm truffles.